Okay, I am up to something probably no good. I'm probably going to regret doing this, but I am off on a venture, and let's see what it brings. This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead. I should probably tell you that you kind of have seen it before, but this time I think I've really gotten myself into hot water because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be coming up against, but I do know whatever it is, I don't know. So let me get driving because I got to get there, and then we'll see what we got. And then some of you may be getting phone calls from me. Okay, so I've just arrived. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to park, but here's where I'm at. Sharp Custom Cutting. It's time to go in and see. Let me show you what we've got. Okay, here's where you get to see just how crazy I am. Somebody. Let's wait for the garbage man to leave. Okay, so that is the fat and bones from a cow that a friend of mine butchered and she didn't want. And I'm like, oh, I'll take them. A lot of bones. That's a lot of bones. Just in case I haven't said that before, that's a lot of bones. I have my work cut out for me. I'm gonna go home, and this is one of those areas where I'm just gonna start calling friends and say, hey, you have dogs, and do you want some bones? And lots of bone broth to be made, lots of bone meal from my garden, and tallow. Now, to find my way back home. This town of Hubbard, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous, and everybody is so nice. Makes me feel like I'm back in California. They're so nice. Okay, bye you guys. Oh people, I just took the lid off of this Instant Pot. You see I have one Instant Pot, two Instant Pots, and I have a big kettle. This has bone broth. They all have bones in them because I'm trying to process some of those bones that I got. Gave away a ton, but look at this. I just took the lid off. You see that jiggle? I got gellage. Oh, that is a sign of a very good broth. Just look at it again. Yeah. You literally can see the gel, there's a little tiny bit of fat on the top. I'm just gonna scoop that off and save it because we're gonna purify that later. This is amazing stuff. There you go. One of the many things that I have been doing is making beef broth. And in the process of making beef broth, I have been scooping off all of the fat that comes off of the top after it cools. And I collected it all in this pot. I just got finished boiling it. I was boiling out some of the impurities that were in it, and then I'm going to strain it. And then after I strain it, I'm going to take just the fat that's on the top because there's a little bit of beef broth on the bottom. I'm going to take just the fat that's on the top. I'm going to strain that out, and then I'm going to weigh it in 3.5-ounce segments. And I'll tell you about why in just a moment. I am actually using a reusable produce bag to strain it in a colander. This is going to be taking out as much of the impurities as possible while leaving the fat. I am going to have to separate some of the broth that still remains. So we're just going to keep working on it. Taking some mason jars, the 1/2 pint ones, and we're going to weigh 3.5 ounces of fat in each one. I'll tell you why in a bit. I get my scale, I'll put my cup on there, and then I will tare it, which means I'll make it 0, and then start adding. And this is weighing 3.5 ounces. That's enough to make a batch of flour tortillas, which is exactly why I'm doing it, because I'll stick this in the freezer, and when I need it, I pop it out and pour the hot water over it. It's so genius. Or basically just time saving. Now look at this, even though I strained it, I still have some very fine impurities on the bottom. I'm just taking this, and I won't even take all of it because I don't want to disturb that. I used my mold. I had this sitting out so I could specifically use it. Each one has 3.5 ounces in it. I didn't fill it up all the way. I just filled it up to the 3.5 ounce mark. And I used these jars that I had already poured to measure that out. And then this is what I have left over. I may take this off. I'm waiting for it to settle, but I may not use it. So I'm gonna wrap these up and then I'm gonna stick them in the freezer and I'm gonna label it tortilla making. It's also gonna be the stick that I use to coat my pan or when I need to saute vegetables or anything like that. This is what I'm going to use for it. It's not going to be used for making makeup, lotions, potions, candles, or anything like that. This is not pure tallow. This is just edible forms. There you go. Okay, off to my next project. So remember the day I came home with the cow in the back of my car, like the bones and the fat, right? Do you remember that day? I want to show you what I've just done. Now, the bones are still in my freezer. Some of them I've already worked with, but I'm just going to hold on to those for a bit and work through them as I can because I need to get out in the garden. And this, when you have boiling oil on your stovetop, you really need to be in the kitchen. And that, I wanted to get it all processed so I could work on getting the grease smell out of my house. So now I'm working on getting the grease smell out of my house. It's okay, we already have an ozone machine. We're good, right? We're good. But look at what I've got. Each pile is 5 pounds of tallow. That is 35 pounds of the most amazing rendered tallow, and I have got so many plans. So this year I did not show you how to make it. This year I am showing you how to use it. So stick with me because I've got recipes already in the pipeline of how we are going to use it. It is beautiful. It smells amazing and it's just gorgeous. Now, this is not the stuff that I'm taking off of the beef bones, not the fat that's coming off of the beef bones and then I'm kind of purifying that. That I'm going to use strictly for cooking. That literally is not the same quality as this. This is the most amazing hard rendered tallow. This stuff is just awesome. And this is what I'm going to be using for candles, soaps, face lotion, body lotion, butters, balms, salves, everything. You name it right there. This is awesome. So thank you to the woman that shares her cow fat with me, beef fat with me. That sounds really weird. It's been very enjoyable. It also is the most beautiful yellowish color. Yeah, you can definitely tell this guy was out in the field a lot. Okay, now I'm gonna go package it so that I can take it to her. There you go. Trip to Salem, here I come. Now you know what I know.